my viewers and learners. Today, our class is going to be about the language techniques, the language devices. And I want you to have a pen and a notebook because we are going to learn so many language devices. We are going to look at the meaning of a language technique, the effect of the language technique, and the example of that particular language technique. I'm sure you can't afford to miss this. Please welcome to this class. Thank you. The first technique is simile. We talk of simile. This is a comparison using like or as. And an example of this, she was as brave as a lion. And the effect of using a simile in a text is to create a vivid imagery and also to help the readers visualize comparisons. The second technique that I want us to look at is metaphor. Metaphor is a direct comparison, saying one thing is another, without the use of like or as. An example of metaphor: time is a thief. Time is a thief. What is the effect of metaphors in a text? It makes descriptions more powerful and memorable. The reader is able to memorize or to remember what he or she has just read in the text. The third technique or the third language device, we have personification. And learners, we talk of personification, then this is giving human traits to non-human objects. An example: the wind whispered through the trees. We are giving the wind the trait of whispering. The effect: it makes descriptions more engaging and relatable. You can relate one thing to another. Fourth technique, we have hyperbole. Learners, hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration for effect. When you exaggerate or make something look bigger than the actual appearance. Example: I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. I'm so hungry, I could eat an elephant. The effect is to add drama and humor. That is the effect for using hyperbole. Then the fifth one is understatement. Understatement is making something seem less important. Making something seem less important. Example: it's just a scratch. It's just a scratch, when in real sense it is a big wound and it's so painful. But you say it's just a scratch. It means you are making it look smaller, or you are making it look less significant. The effect of using understatement is to create irony and humor. To create irony and humor. The sixth language technique is alliteration. This is the repetition of consonant sounds at the start of words. Repetition of consonant sounds at the start of words. For example, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. You look at this, we have P, the sound P. The effect of this alliteration is it makes the phrases catchy and memorable. Onomatopoeia, words that imitate sounds. Example, the bees buzzed. The bees buzzed. The effect is brings sound effect to writing, makes it more immersive, makes it more immersive. Then the next technique we have the oxymoron. Oxymoron is our 8th technique, and oxymoron is two opposite words which are placed together. We talk of oxymoron, they are two opposite words placed together. For example, bittersweet chocolate. Bittersweet chocolate. Another example, living dead. And the effect of oxymoron is it creates a contrast and highlights complexity. Oxymoron creates contrast and it also highlights complexity. Paradox is the next one. Paradox is a statement that contradicts itself but reveals the truth. For example, less is more. Less is more. The effect of paradox provokes thought and challenges assumptions. It provokes thought and challenges assumptions. Number 10 language technique we have rhyme. Our 10th technique is rhyme. So rhyme are words that end with the same sound. We talk of rhyme, these are words that ends with the same sound. For example, twinkle, twinkle, little star. So we say twinkle, twinkle, little star, then you see the ending sound is the same. And the effect of rhyme is it creates rhythm and makes the text more musical. It helps to create rhythm and it also makes the text more musical. Number 11, rhythm. Rhythm is number 11th technique, and this is the beat or the flow of words in writing. An example of a rhythm, the wheels on the bus go round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round. And the effect of rhythm is that it improves the readability and the engagement. Improves the readability and engagement. 12 is assonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds. And for example, the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plains. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. So if you look at this, we have the assonant sounds, repeated here, and they bring the same sound. So when we talk of the vowel sounds, remember we have consonant sounds, but in assonance it is purely vowel. So the effect of assonance in a text is to create a smooth and a flowing sound. It helps create a smooth and also a flowing sound. Consonance is number 13, and consonance is repetition of consonant sounds within a word. Consonance is repetition of consonant sounds within a word. Example, Peter Patter. Peter Patter. Yeah. So we have the T sound within the word that has been, repeated, and the effect is it enhances the musicality of writing. Number 14, imagery. Imagery is descriptive language that appeals to the senses. And an example of imagery is the sky was a deep blue with streaks of orange. Yeah, an example of imagery we have The sky was a deep blue with streaks of orange. So when I read this sentence, you can see a picture of what I'm talking about. And the effect of imagery is it engages the reader by painting a mental picture. Number 15, let's talk of symbolism. We talk of symbolism, then this is using of symbols to represent ideas. When we use symbols, different symbols to represent ideas, then that is what we call symbolism. An example we can say, a heart represents love. Yeah, a heart to represent love. That is, now we are symbolizing, we are using a symbol to represent something. And the effect is it adds deeper meaning and layers to the text. So it helps the text to have some deeper meaning. Foreshadowing technique number 16. Meaning, it hints about future events. Foreshadowing is that statement that can tell what is to happen, what is to happen in future. It hints something that is yet to happen or something that will happen in future. And for example, if we say a dark cloud loomed over the city, then we are likely to be, thinking of it raining in the near future. So when we talk of foreshadowing, the effect is it builds suspense and also keeps the readers engaged. It is used to build suspense and keep readers engaged. Number 17 is flashback. Flashback is like the opposite of foreshadowing, because flashback is a scene that shows past events. When you remember the memories of the past, that is what we call flashback. Remembering the memories of the past. The example here, she remembered her childhood home. So she is she's trying to think about her childhood home. That is now flashback. The effect of flashback is it provides background information and develops character depth. Irony number 18. Irony is contrast between expectation and reality. Contrast between expectation and reality. For example, we can say a fire station burns down. It is ironical, a fire station to burn down. It is not what we expect to see. The effect of irony is to create surprise. Sometimes we can use it to create humor or to bring a deeper meaning of something. We have juxtaposition, and juxtaposition is placing of contrasting ideas together. We talk of juxtaposition, then this is creating of contrasting ideas together. For example, the rich and the poor lived side by side. We are bringing the rich, we are bringing the poor, we put them side by side. That is what we call juxtaposition. The effect of juxtaposition is that it highlights differences and makes contrast stand out. In fact, it highlights the differences and makes contrast stand out. We have allusion as the 20th technique, and allusion is a reference to a famous person, place, or event. To allude, allusion is a reference to a famous person, place, or event. And for example, he was a real Romeo. So we all understand that when we are talking about something and then we allude to something else, then that should be what we call allusion. The effect is it creates connection to broader cultural knowledge. It creates connection to broader cultural knowledge. Number 21, we have emotive language. So when we talk of emotive language, then these are words that evoke our emotions. Emotive language is use of words that evokes your emotions. For example, the heartbreaking letter made her cry. The heartbreaking letter made her cry. So her emotions are evoked, and the effect of emotive language is to engage the reader emotionally. To engage the readers emotionally. Writers can use personal pronoun, our 22 or 22nd technique. Personal pronoun, we have words like I, we, and you. I, we, and you. We have singular and plural. So these are the personal pronouns. And for example, I can say, you can make a difference. I'm addressing you directly and I'm using you. That is the second person personal pronoun. The effect for using these pronouns is to create personal connection with the audience. To create personal connection with the audience. Number 23, we have tone, the tone. So we talk of the tone in a text or of a text. We say this is the writer's attitude in the text. Tone is the writer's attitude in the text. For example, we can have a serious tone, we can have humorous tone, we can have sarcastic tone, blah, 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 blah. So the effect of these different tones can be to share or to show how the audience feels about the topic. It shapes how the audience feels about the topic of discussion or the topic in discussion. Yeah. So that is what we call the tone. We have direct address, and when we talk about the direct address, then we are talking about speaking directly to the reader. When the writer speaks directly to the reader, that is what we call direct address. For example, have you ever felt lonely? Have you ever felt lonely? I'm talking to you directly. I'm addressing you directly. So we call that direct address. The effect for direct address is to engage and also involve the reader. Pun is the next one, and we talk of pun, then this is a play on words. Pun is just a play on words. For example, I used to be a baker, but I couldn't make enough dough. I used to be a baker, but I couldn't make enough. So that's just a play. And the effect of using these puns is to add some humor to the text. List of three, technique number 26, is grouping of ideas in threes for emphasis. When we group ideas in threes for emphasis, that is the technique called, list of three. We can also call it triple structure. Remember, we can also call it rule of three. So rule of three can also be called list of three. And, we can also give it the as triple structure as another name. The effect of using a list of three is to make the statement more persuasive and memorable. When we want to make a text more persuasive and memorable, we use rule of three. Number 27, assertive language. We talk of assertive language, then this is a language that has a lot of confidence and very strong statements, confident and strong statements. Authoritative language. We say we can talk of authoritative language or a very strong statement. For example, this is the best choice. We are insisting this is the best choice. So it sounds very strong. The language is very strong there. And the effect for this is it encourages belief and action. So it helps to encourage belief and action. Number 28, we have repetition. Repetition is just repeating words for effect. When you repeat words for effect, when you use a word more than once in a text, you are repeating it, and there must be the effect for it. Example, we shall fight, we shall win, we shall conquer. We shall fight, we shall win, we shall conquer. I'm repeating we shall. So there's some inclusivity, there's some unity I'm bringing to the statement here. The effect is to emphasize the key points and to make ideas memorable. Number 29, we have rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is that question that doesn't need an answer. They sometimes look very stupid questions anyway. We don't need to answer them. That is why we call them rhetorical questions. For example, who wouldn't want success? Who wouldn't want success? You don't really need to answer, because even the answer will sound very ambiguous. So it is rhetorical. Someone even asks you, are you dead? It is rhetorical, because the person can see you are not dead. So it is rhetorical already. So the effect is it engages the reader and makes them think. Sibilance is the next technique, number 30. Sibilance. Sibilance is repetition of S sound. When you have the S sound repeated, we call it sibilance. The example, we can say, she sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. The S sound comes out repeated. That is what we call sibilance. The effect is it creates a smooth, soothing and sinister effect. A smooth, soothing and sinister effect. We have sarcasm as our next technique. Sarcasm. Sarcasm is using irony to mock or to be humorous. Sarcasm is when we use irony to mock or to be humorous. For example, oh, great, another meeting, just what I needed, Oh, great, another meeting, just what I needed. So, it is not exactly what you mean. It sounds like what you really mean, but you're trying just to mock the person. And the effect for sarcasm is it adds humor and criticism to the text. Then we have number 32 technique. We call it dialogue. A written conversation between characters. Dialogue is a written conversation between characters. 2 people conversing, 3 people talking, So let's give an example, Let's give an example of dialogue. Where were you last night? Out with friends. So this person, character A, says something and character B responds, That is dialogue. The effect is to make the story more interactive and engaging. So dialogues helps to make story interactive or more interactive and engaging. Monologue is the technique number 33. A monologue is a long speech by one character, a speech within yourself. That is what we call a monologue. The example for monologue, we can say to be or not to be. That is the question. A question that comes within yourself and the answer within yourself. Monologue. So the effect is it reveals thoughts and emotions. When a character, talks and not talking to any other person but to himself. Monologue. So it helps to reveal thoughts and emotions. Then we have 34 is facts. Facts is technique number 34. And we talk of facts, then this is a statement that can be proven. A statement that can be proven to be true. A statement we can prove to be true. For example, weather freezes at 0% degrees Celsius. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. The sun, rises in the east. The sun sets in the west. We cannot disagree with such statements. Those are facts. The effect for facts is it adds credibility. The effect is facts add a lot of credibility. Number 35 is opinion. Opinion is a personal belief or judgment. Opinion is what someone believes in, or the writer's judgments. What the writer says as his belief or his judgment of something, that is what we call opinion. And an example of opinion, we say, chocolate ice cream is the best. That is the writer's opinion. Your opinion could be different, but what the writer thinks, believes, and says is his opinion. So the effect of opinions, we can say, shows the writer's perspectives. It shows the perspective from which the writer sees or argues or reasons. Number 36, we have statistics, and we say statistics is a numerical data used as evidence. Numerical data used as evidence. For example, we say 85% of people agree. That 85 is giving the statistics. It gives the data. 10 out of 5 scored the good grades. That 10 out of 5 gives the statistics. I scored 70% in mathematics. That's 70%. So statistics is just the numerical data. The effect is it supports arguments with facts. Then we have the anecdotes. And anecdote is a short personal story. A short personal story. When you give a short story about yourself, that is the anecdote. And for example, I remember when I first tried sushi. So this is just a short story about the writer or about yourself. And the effect for using the anecdotes is it engages readers by making content relatable. It engages the readers by making the content relatable. Number 38, we have quotations. What is quotations? Using someone's exact words. When you borrow words used by someone else, you are quoting. Quotations. Example, Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Another example, Barack Obama once said, together, yes, we can. Barack Obama once said, yes, we can. So I have borrowed what Obama said some times back. The effect is it adds credibility. So it helps to add credibility. 39, time maker. What about time maker? Time maker is words or phrases that indicate time when an event occurs. Words or phrases that indicate when an event occurs. For example, last summer I traveled to Europe. That phrase, that last summer is the time marker. It shows the time when something really happened. I was born in 1988. That 88 is the time. It marks the time. I will be in Nairobi by noon. That by noon tells the time. In 50 minutes, I will be done. That is the time marker. The effect, it helps establish the timeline of a narrative. Viewers and learners, that is the last technique for our lesson today. Remember, we have done up to 39 techniques. There are still very, very many techniques that I will organize for you, and we'll again have another class. Meanwhile, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel, and if you have not subscribed, please again, I request you subscribe, write a comment there, and don't forget to like and again share with your friends. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.